What's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken and welcome back to another video. In this one I'll be going over my picks for the top 5 supports that are not only excellent healers, but are great at dealing damage too. These champions can pose even more of a threat than some damage champions in the game, while still being able to heal their allies from time to time and provide loads of utility for their team. Now, before we begin the video, I'd like to have sort of a quick channel update, since I've just received a whole bunch of new hardware as an early Christmas present, including a new, faster computer, a new microphone, and a higher resolution monitor that will make my videos more HD. All this should, in effect, make my videos more of a higher quality and make my voice sound a little clearer. Now, with all this new stuff, a few new opportunities have opened up for me, including playing different games on my channel such as ARK or TerraTech, and streaming on Twitch has become more viable for me. So, if you guys would be interested in watching me stream or maybe do something with a different game, then be sure to let me know in the comments section down below, because while it is an option for me, I don't want to try and stream or play something new if it's not something you guys want. But anyways, enough rambling on, let's get into the video. Number 5. Croc. In the number 5 spot we have everyone's favorite blue orc, Croc. Croc is a very interesting damage support, because while he does have the capacity to easily put out the top damage in a match, the type of damage he puts out is heavily dependent on two factors: how efficient his team is at finishing off kills, and how grouped up the enemy team is, and these two factors keep Croc from placing any higher on this list. The main difference between a healing Croc and a damage Croc in terms of dishing out damage is that damage Croc can spam his shock pulse a lot more, and it can hit a lot more targets before fizzling out. However, it can't bounce from player to player if the enemy team is not grouped up very close together, so the main buff to Croc's damage relies on a group of enemies being present, and is almost useless in a 1v1. Also, while other damage supports either have heavy-hitting burst shots like Pip or Grover, Croc has a very weak lightning staff that has an extremely high rate of fire but does very insignificant damage with each shot. This means that Croc struggles greatly to deal enough damage to completely kill an enemy in the time it will take them to kill him. While Croc is great at softening targets, it takes him too long to kill a target efficiently, and he relies on his teammates to finish off an enemy for him. Croc is undoubtedly one of the best supports in the realm for dishing out damage, but the type of damage he deals keeps him from being as strong as the other support champions on this list. Number 4. Grover. Grover takes the number 4 spot on this list because he is the strongest damage support in the realm at a long distance. Grover is an excellent sniper, since his axe's damage scales upward at range, so he can deal upwards of 900 damage with ferocity if he is far enough away. His cripple is also an incredibly useful anti-flank ability that can spell doom for many flankers that rely on their high mobility to survive, such as Koga and Eevee. A good DPS Grover can easily take down tough targets, and he can also still be a decent healer considering that the base stats on his heal are quite strong, and he'll be getting a massive buff to his Blossom's base range in patch 2.01. Grover also has the best movement ability out of any healer, a vine with incredibly long range that can take him anywhere he wants to go almost instantly. That being said, what keeps Grover from ranking higher on this list is the fact that his weapon is extremely weak at close range. If a flanker catches Grover with his guard down at point blank range, there is little Grover can do except to try and cripple them, heal himself, and run away to a better vantage point. If Grover's vine is down and a flank catches up to him, there's almost nothing Grover can do to stop the flanker except to rely on his teammates to save him, which probably isn't going to happen unless you're in a party. Grover is a very capable and threatening DPS support, but because he can't defend himself very well in close quarters, he ranks number 4 on this list. Number 3. MalDama. MalDama is easily one of the best supports in the realm, both when it comes to healing and when it comes to slaying raids. Damba has a wide variety of ways to deal damage and 2 very strong talents for dealing damage. With Wakono's Curse, MalDama can easily land damage on difficult to hit targets or enemies at range, such as Kinessa or Flying Drogos. And a skilled MalDama with Wakono's Wrath can absolutely annihilate squishy champions with a flurry of stuns and damage. MalDama has such a wide variety of damage dealing abilities that all add up to create one devastating damage champion that can score tons of kills and deal gobs of damage. But what sets MalDama back is the fact that a lot of his abilities are super difficult to use. His primary fire is very difficult to land past short range, and requires lots of practice, distance judgment, and predictions to use. Even at close range, his reload projectile is pretty hard to land without some serious practice, making the only reliable sources of damage for a less skilled MalDama are the Gourd and the damage on his Mending Spears when using Wakono's Curse. While MalDama ranks among the highest support champions in terms of damage potential and raw healing power, the fact that he is so difficult to play earns him the number 3 spot on this list. Number 2. Furia. Furia has always been a strong support when it comes to dishing out damage, even without committing to a full damage build. Her sword that is somehow an automatic shotgun, or Pyre Blade, deals up to 330 damage on each shot with a high rate of fire and a tight spread that lets her have some pretty strong poke at medium range. When using her Exterminate talent and Solar Flare, a card that increases the radius of her Pyre Strike can deal some serious damage to an enemy and easily end their life if Furia's team is paying attention. Her healing is also really strong at base, as she can still heal her allies for a total of 1500 health every 4 seconds, without any modifiers to kindle soul in her loadout. Furia's ultimate is also quite helpful for making her a strong DPS support, for obvious reasons. She buffs the damage output of her entire team by a whopping 30%. While this ultimate isn't necessarily game-changing, Furia's ult is still a really helpful tool not only for keeping her alive, but for buffing her entire team and dealing a ton of damage at the same time. Overall, Furia is just a really strong support that is excellent at dealing damage. Number 1. Pip. At the number 1 spot on this list we have Pip, the best support for dealing damage for quite some time. Pip has a lot to offer in terms of damage that make him an outstanding choice not only as a healer, but as a damage champion and even as a flank. Pip's weapon is the hardest hitting out of all the supports, dealing 600 damage at base and hitting for a whopping 840 when an enemy is affected with his explosive flask when using his catalyst talent. This gives Pip the best, most consistent burst out of all the support champions, and makes him quite scary to go up against. His movement ability is also incredible, since it's both extremely useful for getting around with its increased jump height, and it can be used to jump wildly around an enemy and confuse them, similar to how you would use Androx's Nether Step in a fight. Not only does Pip have a strong weapon and a super useful movement ability, but he also has incredible sustain in a fight with his healing potion that heals both quicker than and for more than Buck's recovery. While Pip isn't as strong a healer in his damage build as Furia is, Pip's ability to heal himself for 1200 health instantly is an invaluable tool for flanking that makes him much more versatile than any other support. Pip's ultimate is also much more game-changing than Furia's, reducing multiple enemies to pitiful chickens. Awesome and outstanding looking chickens is an incredibly useful ability that can turn the tide of a game. Pip is incredible at dishing out damage and earns the number 1 spot on this list. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Do you guys agree with my list, or do you think a different support deserves a place on this list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to let me know your thoughts on me streaming down in the comments. I would really like to know what you think about that. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this from me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.